Hello, this is Roland Young from EPLAN Canada. Just a quick introduction to what we'll be doing today. Today, I will be talking generally about the tool Electric P8 Pro Panel, which technically helps us to reduce really significantly our engineering time and a little bit of our manufacturing time at the same. So we will be focusing today on the auto wire numbering. So directly in EPLAN, here we go. Let's start. Let's talk about the just landed in 1 minute. How does it work? So let's do a small project and let's talk about wires first. Here's a small configurator, kind of interesting because if you don't know it, originally called the EPLAN Project Builder. Let's check it out here and let's just land it in 1 minute after this goes. Of course, templates, always good to have a template that actually reflects your company with your logos and everything. This is something that EPLAN can help you very quickly, and it is done. So here, I'm actually using one of my configurators to generate a small system. Everyone knows it, something like a silo. You see them out there, agricultural systems. You sometimes have a 575 230. This is typical on farms. It's going to be my silo number 1. Let's pick size. I want a fan, maybe with external command, no external command, depending on what I need. Here, the fan will be just a 1 horsepower, and they have something special called a styrator, kind of a drying system inside the silos. Just call it up, and somebody, of course, here at EPLAN prepared for me this configurator. It generates a new project, and I'm good to go. Now, I could, of course, hereafter come back and say, okay, I'm going to add to that same project a silo number 2. No distribution here. Let's go with the silo number 2. A very similar one, maybe without the external commands, or let's keep it without the styrator because I don't need any drying on this one. Let's just go like this, and it just adds a couple of additional pages. What happened is in the back here, we see a project just landed with a couple of different pages. The first page being my distribution page, very typical. I start with that distribution page. From that distribution page, of course, we can see here that it actually goes to my silo number 1. This is my silo number 1. I can check it out. So page here, and I have a page number 2, a silo number 2. This actually connects automatically here to the very last. So all the cross references are taken care by the system. Really cool feature. So you can see here, overall, I just generated electrical schematics, 1, 2, 3 pages. Now, of course, I have to take a look at some of these wires, because some of the wires actually go from page 1 to a page number 2 to a page number 3. Of course, in EPLAN, we have options like the renumber pages. That is a possibility. You do not have to use it. You could use it by structure, not by structure. It's really up to you. I'm going to use it not by structure. So what this means is that what originally stepped as a page S1A1, page 1 is going to become a page 2 and a page 3, just, as you wish. This is kind of more NFPA stylish. So when you look at the pages, you're looking at them more like a sequential thing rather than a structural thing. This is all possible. Now, when you do wire numbers, of course, the wire numbers is a feature that runs pretty much automatically from start to finish. So it's kind of just a first step where we assign wire numbers all over the place. In some cases here, you can see they're positioned. And as a second step around, you just go and number them. In here, we have a kind of an interesting topic about manually set wires. I did not create any exceptions, so I will not have to use this feature. But let's say we do want to create a special wire number for something special. Let's say here under the 24 VDC section, I want to make sure that the wires that actually go out of this system here, I give them a special name. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go there and I'm going to put what we call a connection designation like this, and I'm going to call it very specifically 24 VDC2, and I will mark it as manually set. Now this, what it does is, of course, if I ever have this signal elsewhere, that value will be taken over. Now, as it is, this VDC is not taken over. Let's do it for this one down here. So I'm just going to move this wire number here, right? And you will see just the fact that I called it 24 VDC2 and I made it manual, this makes it an exception. It will be transferred. Why? Because when I'm running the wire numbers, as you can see, let's talk a little bit about this, they actually will overwrite every wire number with whatever sequence I'm asking, except for the one here that is manually set. So remember, manually set was set via a property that you can find inside the connection point designation down here. If you do not see it down there, you can go and pick it up out of this list. I will not have it in this list. Why? Because it's already there and I just have to check it. Sometimes, check it out, you may have to change here the setting to actually be able to apply it, but not in this case. So this is cool. The other thing that is also cool inside ePlan is you can use things like potentials. So technically, you can say, okay, on a given potential, like this is 24 VDC here, you can say this is going to be a certain color with a certain wire. So if you say, well, in this particular case, I want this to be, let's say, not 18 American wire gauge black, but I'd like to have this as a blue color, you can just set it like this on the potential. And what is actually interesting inside ePlan is that this potential information will transfer onto the rest of the wires. Let's take a look at this one here and see this one is actually white. Perfect. I can also say, you know what, I'm going to make it a 16 American wire gauge as a default. I can set that, and then I will have 16 American wire gauge to wherever I go. Even on this side here where the cross reference is, I will have exactly that color. So it's kind of a cool feature to use these potentials to assign the different colors and gauges because they are usually standard. Now, this does not really mean anything for the wire numbers because the wire numbers are following a certain pattern that is there, except for the manually set. And this pattern is defined here under the designation. I invite you to discuss with your counterpart on the Rittal side and on the ePlan side what is the best configuration. Here I'm following basically the NFPA rule or suggestion, which basically says when I'm connecting to a PLC, I'm using the PLC IO address, and when I end up on a general connection, which is here, I'm using the row.subcounter, which gives me the row number plus a subcounter. And this, of course, as I run it, will do all my wires exactly as I expect them. And you can see that we got a bunch of these 24 VDC2s. These ones are actually all tied down to my exception, which means from that exception onwards, I can now control the name to be 24 VDC2. You can see it repeats all over the place. I can go to that next page here. If I move down, you can see 24 VDC2. So it's kind of a powerful tool here to manually set some of these wire numbers. Now, of course, you will see that in some cases, depending on where the wires end up, you may have some, written tags because it always picks the first section where the wire number should go. This positioning may need a little bit, again, in a proportion of probably 5 to 10% maybe. You need a little bit of cleanup because most of the time it's actually perfectly in line and you have prepared enough space and it actually fits, so no problem. If it doesn't fit, you just move it and you move it around. Another secret I have actually planned in here is that my wire number actually also triggers the rest of the information through the so-called block property. So what I do is I attach my wire designation, connection designation here with a block property. That block property is actually to be defined at a higher level, at the project level. So here at the project level, if you actually take a look at the properties themselves, there's a block property for formatting the connection designations. So somewhere in here, if I go through it, sometimes you need to sort this out and you will find it here. And I'm actually adding the additional information for the wires, like the color, the cross section, etc. I'm actually adding it automatically here to the wire. So the BK10 American wire gauge here is actually something that auto-populates, and I did not have to assign these colors all over the place. Same thing for the 24 VDC. I know it's blue because I set it to blue on the other side. So it's kind of interesting to see how this works out very well. And if you do have a wire where you did assign, let's say, a specific color or whatever, you can have that color also as an exception if you want to, not taken over by the upper side here where the potential was. So this actually will generate a very detailed source and target. I will not go in this video into the details about the layout and the routing, but the interesting is that ePlan is capable of routing the wires. Check out some of my other videos, I talk about this a lot. And once this is routed, all you have to do is export the data to a wire fabrication machine, the Rittal wire terminal, and it will prefabricate the wires for you. Cut, stripped, crimped, and we add labels onto it. One of those labels is the wire number and the source and target. Now, very interesting too is if you do not have the machine, you can actually work with wireprint.com, one of our divisions within the Rittal application centers, and we can prefabricate the wires here in Canada for you. All you have to do then is to actually go here to ePlan Cloud. You do the sharing of the project under data management. All you do is you take your project, you actually upload it onto eManage, which doesn't take too much time because you can choose where you want to put it, right? Let's say you put it under a certain folder, whatever, you upload it. And once it is actually uploaded, you share it with the counterpart on the wireprint.com. In this case, you actually share project with me, younk.r, and the idea from I will receive Mark's project, you will share with me, and then look there how we can use those wires. I can actually communicate there by assigning the right part numbers, because I don't have all the wires in the world. I only have, I don't know, a set of 36 different types of wires of different gauges between 18 gauge and gauge 10 of different colors. And I'll show you how to assign the proper part number. I'll share with you the part numbers to actually share you the wires I can do. We'll send you a detailed quote. And the interesting thing, within 48 hours, we're ready to ship the package out to you. When you receive it, you're down to just having to land the wire in 1 minute. So that's why I'm calling it just landed in 1 minute, because you don't have to prepare wires, you don't have to cut wires, you don't have to prepare anything. And the fun part behind this is you can also use smart production, smart wiring to help you assist, do the wire landing and see how many wires you actually have landed over the time period that you started. Because smart production, smart wiring is a very interesting tool to be used down at the shop floor. To help you, we will also print the source and target on each wire, which makes the landing actually a very, very pleasurable task compared to having to remember all the data that is in the schematics. You have to figure out what the source and target designation is. You have to figure out where it actually is, and you have to remember all of that while you're doing the wiring. Here you don't have to anymore. It goes much faster. So of course, here the update project is going to be done. So I'm just going to wait until it's done and show you how to do the sharing. Yes, now it's available for you and your colleagues. We can see it here, just landed. It's right there, right? This is the project. Don't click on it necessarily. Like I said, just go one level up. And at this point in time here, if you look on the right-hand side, you have the option to share it. Now, you can share it with people inside the organization and people outside the organization. One of the emails that you may want to remember for wireprint.com, for ePlan, ePlan's partner to produce the wires, it's EPLANCanada.com here. It's YOUNK. You can just share it there. What you can also do is you can share it with RAC if you wish to. This is at the Rittal WT facility. And what they basically will do is they can pre-drill the panels. Another video that shows it. And of course, when you add something like this, you can see here the apply button. And this will basically just add the name down here at the bottom. And you will be able even to limit the time frame behind it. We will actually get in communication with you and send you a quote. Thank you. This was Roland from EPLAN Canada. Hope you learned something out of this. Maybe one last thing that might be interesting I did not think about was the nice setting of the carry-on. There's a small carry-on over connection designation to extent that is quite interesting. A lot of people don't have it checked. So please, under your user, graphic editing, and here the connection symbols, you have a small carry-on connection designation to extent, which makes it quite interesting because if you actually take one of these wires and you change it, it's going to ask you, do you want to change it somewhere else? Let's just add an A here. You will see when I hit the apply button, you get that extra question to all connection of the signal, and it does it for all the connections, even if it has to go here to the prior connection that we had. It's all renumbered. Isn't this cool? This was Roland from EPLAN Canada.